All right. Let's see how many people I can get to hate me. So, non-binary. Makes it, from what I understand of non-binary, and it's that they don't feel like men, don't feel like women. Okay, fine. But why is that? Is it because they don't fit the gender roles? Like there are men who want to be able to wear dresses, or women who actually, I really don't know because women already wear pants. Have shorter hairstyles that resemble men. I don't know. Because once upon a time, wearing jeans for women was considered wrong. And I'm sure there are still some people out there who don't think women should be wearing pants. So, so I'm not sure about the females who, and when I say that, I mean born female. I don't know if why they would not feel like either gender. But I wonder how many, if we didn't have such strict gender roles, like men shouldn't wear skirts, which is, if you want to know whether it's a social construct, which it is, all throughout history, men have been allowed to wear skirts. And you look at Ireland, they still wear skirts. They call them kilts. So, no, not all cultures think that only women wear skirts. The type of skirt might be different, but they're still skirts. So I wonder how many people would still be non-binary if they were allowed to wear what they want, um, you wear makeup if they want. I mean, hell, I identify as a woman. I don't wear makeup. Well, I shouldn't say I've never worn makeup. I've experimented with eyeshadow when I was in high school. I saw it as completely pointless. Um, Same thing with jewelry. Do not wear jewelry. Never have. Never had my ears pierced. Don't want to have my ears pierced. I briefly I briefly experimented with clip-ons. Yeah, that sucked. So, don't wear jewelry. Um, do not wear perfume, and that's mainly because I'm allergic, not because I don't like the scent. I like men's cologne scents better than I usually like women's perfume, but still, I still identify as a woman. So, I'm really curious if non-binary people were felt like they could do things like not wear makeup, not wear jewelry. Um, men who males, I should say, can wear skirts, or they can wear jewelry or makeup. If they were free to do whatever the hell they wanted to, if if we wouldn't see fewer people identifying as non-binary, because then they wouldn't have the strict gender roles that they're trying to break free from, because they don't feel like they belong on that end of the spectrum. They don't feel they belong on the other end of the spectrum. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about trans people who aren't non-binary, because many of them experience gender dysphoria, which makes them want to transition to the opposite sex, so opposite gender. because they're painfully aware they cannot transition to the opposite sex. But I'm really curious, sans the gender dysphoria, why do you feel compelled to, as non-binary, why do you feel compelled to not identify with men or women? Because unfortunately, unlike me, who doesn't really give a shit that a woman should do this sort of thing, like my dad, if it were up to him, I would have long hair. Don't care. Don't like long hair. Haven't had long hair since I was in grade school, so yeah, I prefer short hair. So I wonder how many people who would become, who, if they were comfortable um, with telling society, no, this is what I want to do, this is how I want to dress, this is how I want to act, this is how I want to present myself, obviously within the realms of legality. I'm not advocating that, oh, people feel like they want to murder others. No, let's not get stupid. As long as it's not hurting anybody else, I fail to see why they can't just do whatever they want. And I wonder how many people who identify right now as non-binary how many of them would suddenly feel comfortable with their birth sex and the gender that comes with it, because they no longer have to conform to a certain presentation of said gender. I realize that not all trans people feel compelled to be your stereotypical female or stereotypical woman or stereotypical man. I realize that, but those are not non-binary people. Those are the people who have gender dysphoria. So there's an entirely different reason why they're transitioning. It has nothing to do with societal roles. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe for the same reason that trans people, not 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 non-binary trans people feel the need to transition. Maybe it's the same feeling sort of for non-binary, that they just don't feel like, no matter, even if they were allowed to do whatever the hell they wanted, that they still wouldn't feel like the label man or the label woman. But I wonder how many people this would make them feel more comfortable identifying as their birth sex. Because I do understand that that things don't always align. So I do understand that. But I do wonder that what's causing some, not all non-binary, but some non-binary to say, oh fuck it, I'm neither. I'm a third gender or whatever. I wonder how many of them are doing it because they feel pressured that if they identify as a woman, that they should look and act a certain way. And if they identified as a man, they would have to look and act a certain way. And if we just did away with all that nonsense, that men can't show emotion and they need to be strong and they need to be protectors and bleh. And same thing, or they can't wear skirts. They can't wear makeup, which I'm sure you could, if you were to name any entertainer you happen to like a lot, male entertainer, I can guarantee you that they wear some sort of makeup. Granted, it will most likely be for their job because of entertaining, but they will be wearing makeup. So, yeah, if there, like I said, if there's a way for men to feel comfortable wearing makeup, wearing jewelry, wearing skirts, wearing their hair long, I wonder how many of these men would not, how many of these non-binary would go back to identifying if they were born male as men, because there's no longer that stigma that you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do any of this because you happen to be in this box called man. And same thing with women. Women are supposed to be, oh, I don't know, they're supposed to be emotional, they're supposed to be caring and nurturing, and yeah, my stereotypes are failing me. I wonder how many women who, if they felt the need, if they felt that they could get, I don't know, tattoos or nose rings, which is probably the only kind of jewelry that isn't frowned on by men, but I don't know. But that it's harder for me with the women example because, like I said, the biggest one is wearing pants. Women have been able to do that since, what, the 19th century? Women started doing that, and, the men basically gave up and we can wear pants. So I'm a little unclear as to that one. But definitely with the males, how many of the male non-binaries would feel more comfortable identifying as a man if they weren't constrained by what society tells them a man should be? And I'm not saying that you can't be that. Well, let's not be toxic about it, but, men can be, you can be strong, you can be a protector, you can not show emotion if that's who you are and that's how you want to be, fine. But why do we force all men into that box? We should, if men and boys want to wear skirts like on a hot day, shorts just aren't cutting it. They want more of a breeze, so they wear skirts. That should be fine. So yeah, I really wonder how many people would no longer identify as non-binary. I mean, maybe I'm completely off base. So if someone is non-binary and they want to tell me you're full of shit, that's fine. It's just, I really wonder how many people, because to me, before I started identifying as asexual, my first stop, and I know this is a stop for a lot of people, was saying that I was bi. Now granted, there are legit bi people. I'm not saying that this is only a stop post for people figuring out their identity, but but there are people who do identify as bi who come to realize that no, I'm actually this. But this is just on their path of self-discovery. Same thing with non-binary. Maybe they're just confused as to which one to pick. And again, maybe it would be easier to do that if there wasn't all these constraints on what it's like to be, what it means to be a man, what it means to be a woman. So maybe for some people it is like that. I'm going to say I'm non-binary because I'm not sure if I identify as this or as this. I mean, that makes sense too. But again, I really wonder, unless you have gender dysphoria, I really wonder how many non-binary people would not even go on that, would not feel the need to question their gender if their gender wasn't so strict. And I keep repeating myself, so I think that's all I have for this video. And I will see you guys next time.